Hello and welcome to 5 Minutes in the Shed. Right, got an update. So, bike's there, Tribs is there, bike's there, Thruxton's over there. Been riding a few because it's been lovely, glorious sunshine. So, I've done about 70 miles now on this, trying to run it in. And I'm going to tell you what all the early life quality problems are. All right, so I'll turn the camera around, I'll show you. Okay, so as you can see, it's looking very, very good. There's a few dead bugs on it because I went for a ride last night over to a motorbike meet in Claverdon in Warwickshire. Very nice it was too. So, yeah, things that are going wrong. Right, one, the speedo cable I got was, I think is the wrong length. So the inner cable is the wrong length, should I say. So I've just, I'm holding the drive with cable ties. Looks terrible. Need to sort that. We have got an oil leak. Obviously, we've got an oil leak. Obviously, you can see evidence of a little bit of drippage under there. The engine itself, I mean, if you have a look, is oil tight. The rockers are oil tight. Head gasket's oil tight. Base gasket's oil tight. The tubes are oil tight. Everything is very, very good, apart from I'm getting a drip of gearbox oil, and the gearbox oil I've kind of been trying to see where it comes from, and it's coming from the output shaft of the gearbox by the sprocket, which is a bush with a seal on it. The seal I replaced, but the bush I reused the original bush. It looked okay. Hindsight, if ever you do one of these, if you've got the gearbox out, change the main shaft bush, because I think if I had have done, it would have been properly oil tight, which is a shame. So things I need to do now, right? I need to change the oil because I've been running in on this oil. I've done 75 miles. There's some build oil in there and stuff, so I want to get that out. There's some fresh oil in, because I mean, yeah, running one of these in, you can't really go slow because it's a slow bike, right? You want to keep up with traffic, so I'll give it a bit of stick. And the carburettor. So the carburettor has been working fine, but the more I ride it, the worse it's got. All right, so needle jet, sort of mid-range, absolutely fine. Main jet, absolutely fine. It's the pilot, all right? And I've been messing around with the pilot screw over there, and it's not making a lot of difference. It wasn't very good actually when I first put it together. I think the slide's worn, and it's an old carb, right? Really, I should just put a new carburetor on, but I mean, that's all, you know, it's all right. I might put a new slide in it actually, but it's got worse over time. So what I'm assuming is that there's some debris or dirt at the bottom of the petrol tank. It's very old, you know, and it's found its way, very small stuff has found its way into the carb, and it's blocking pilot jets. So I'm going to take the carburetor off and give it a good clean and see if that solves it. I think it's just early flushing dirt around that I missed, you know, in the petrol tank. So first job is I can't do the main shaft on the gearbox, so I'm not pulling the gearbox out again now. It will be okay. I can live with a drip under the engine. It drips on the top of the engine or something different. I tell you what, have you seen those rocker caps? Have you seen them? Look at them. And they don't fall off. Brilliant, O-rings. Yeah, first job, carburetor off. Then I'll test the running of it, and while I'm testing the running of it, the oil will get warm, and then the oil can be changed. That's my plan for this morning. Right then, you join me on the bench for some bench diagnosis, and as we all know, bench diagnosis is best done with tea. So observations. Extended float bowl are brilliant until you want to clean the carb out, and then you have almost a full cap full of fuel, which for those of you outside of the UK, that's about £27.80 that you have to pour away. So yeah, I think, right, here's the thing, the thing is, I think I found the problem straight away. Basically the symptom was difficult to pick up on the throttle and a little bit hard to start. I mean, last night I was outside a pub and very proud that the fact that this bike starts first kick, right? Outside the pub, had a chat to a few people admired the bike, I looked at theirs, and it was time to go. I got on it, I had to kick it like 20 times to get it going. Very embarrassing. The old girl made a fool of me. Anyway, difficult to start, difficult to pick the revs up, right? So I was thinking pilot air screw. When I came to remove this from the bike, that nut was loose. I mean, like finger tight. So I think it was getting an air leak on the manifold. I think that's what the problem was. So actually I didn't need to do this. But it's good. It's good to check, right? Just to make sure that, you know, everything's okay. So I did. Right, so taking it apart, cleaned it all out, blown it all out. There was little bits of traces, little bit of dirt, nothing too bad, right? But it's okay. It's okay, and I think I found what the issue was, to be honest, as I took it apart. So yeah, I've kind of done this for nothing, really. I mean, it's good news. I mean, despite extensive spanner checking before I started test riding it, I obviously missed one. You know, well, I mean, the thing is with an inlet manifold, right? You don't want to over tighten an inlet manifold, because if you do, it warps, right? This sort of shape here bends, and then you get a leak in the middle, right? So you just don't, you don't over tighten it, but you don't under tighten it either. So and I did indeed under tighten. Well, not under tighten. It was probably nipped up, but then, you know, these engines vibrate. It came loose. So yeah, there's a lesson. In fact, I think the nuts, if I remember rightly, the nuts on those should be like a split one, like a locking nut. Oh, they're not on this. Why won't that screw on? Don't know. Well, I just put a little nick in the top of it with a screwdriver, then when I tightened it in, might have done a little bit tight. It's alright though. Right, so that jet back in, nip that up, the block thing, I don't know what you call it. I'm sure, absolutely sure, it's got a very important name, and I'm not calling it by it because I don't know what it is. Right, so that goes in there, like that. This one goes underneath. Let's get that fibre washer in the right place. There you go. Nice. So we'll do that up. It's a big old spanner that for something that's essentially made out of monkey metal. Right, so that's done, that's done. We're going to put the adjuster screw back in. So it goes all the way in. Not too tight. If you tighten this up, you knacker the taper, right? So that's all kind of all the way in. Half, 1, 1.5, 2 and a quarter. I'm running that at. It varies between machines, so don't take that as gospel. Fuel, doofer, float, little bush on the end of it, super shiny extended float bowl that wastes a lot of fuel when you're cleaning your carburetor. Custom made BA screws. God, man. What a machine. I mean, to be honest, carburetor problems, right? If you have carburetor problems and you've got an old carburetor, you're better off. I mean, you can still buy new ammo carbs. Right, and you know, they're not as sexy and patinaed as the older ones, I suppose, but you know, they're all right. Look the same. It's, you know, it's kind of super easy. Just buy a new concentric. Get it from somewhere like Hitchcock. Speak to them on the phone. Tell them what your machine is, what you got it set up like, and they'll jet it for you, and it comes ready to bolt on. Right, and you just spend your £100 and something quid and bolt it on, and then you know it's going to be all right. And then if you have running problems and you think, oh, there's something wrong with my carburetor, it's not, right? Like, I'm very fond of saying that 95% of carburation problems are electrical. Always. Right? You know, people mess around with carbs forever. And a carb's a mechanical device. You set it, that's it. As long as it's clean, it should be good. So, yeah, don't spend time messing around with carburetors if your bike's misfiring and stuff. It's bound to be a dirty earth. Check all your earths first. Yeah, you can tell I'm an electrical engineer. Right, so fuel filter, that was nice and clean. The pipe goes on about that angle, like that. Here's it there, like that. I was going to make this shorter. I'll do it later. I want to get some nice ferrule ones as well. Yeah, anyway, upgrades for later. Upgrades for later. I just want it to run because next weekend this is going up Shelsley Welsh hill climb, and I don't want to be sat at the bottom of the hill climb kicking it like a donkey with it not going, because that would be embarrassing. It's got to go. It's got to go. Right, so carburetor is back together. That can go back on the bike. I think, like I said, I think we diagnosed the issue, and the issue was one loose bolt. There we go. Lesson learnt. Check your nuts before you start. But good exercise. We've done it, cleaned it again, made sure it's absolutely pristine. Let's get it all back together and see if it starts first kick. If it starts first kick, that's what the issue was. Let's have a look. Okay, moment of truth. Now, if I can start this wearing skateboard trainers, I think we're going to say then I think it's fixed, right? Because it was a bugger to kick yesterday with this problem, which is probably just a loose manifold. Actually, I had this on my Triton when I first built that. I got a concentric carburetor on it, and I thought I'll ride it to work, give it a run. And I was going down the Foss Way, and it started popping and farting a bit. I thought, oh, it's low on fuel, so I went in the petrol station, filled up with fuel, and then I came out and I was trying to kick it, and it wouldn't go. And anyway, finally it went, and it was kind of, it was good and then bad and then good then bad, but it got me to work. It got to work, and one of the nuts on the mounting flange for the inlet manifold had fell off completely, and the other one was really loose, and the carburetor was literally like ½ inch away from the manifold, falling backwards and forwards. And as I kicked it, the vacuum created sucked the carburetor onto the engine, and then it worked. But as soon as I backed off and there was any back pressure, it moved away and then cut out. But it was running without the carburetor bolted on. What a machine. Yeah, anyway, don't get that with fuel injection, do you? So, right, let's get a bit of go juice in it. We'll see if she goes. Whoa, come on. She ain't going to tick over because she's freezing cold. But I think we're in a much better position regarding starting. Yeah, almost ticking over. I reckon if I warm that up, she'll go. Fantastic. I think I fixed it. Bit of debug. So yeah, there we go. Lesson learnt. Loose nuts. Keep your nuts tight, otherwise you're going to get an air leak. Yeah, so there we go. Thanks for watching, and yeah, it is May 2024, the 75th anniversary of the Triumph Motorcycle Owners Club. A big weekend at Shelsley Walsh next weekend. If anyone's there, any Triumph owners are there at Shelsley Walsh, I'll be there. Bike will be there. Feel free to come and have a look. Say hello. It'd be nice to meet people. Right. Thanks for watching.